He called me family right before he destroyed my life, said I was like a second father to him, then smiled as he handed me a pen that took everything. My company, my home, even the name on the front door. I didn't see it coming. Not from him. Not from the boy I raised, fed, protected, who now sat across the table firing me with lawyers in the room. They escorted me out like I was a criminal. No farewell. No thanks. Just silence. And yet, in that silence, he forgot something. One system, one file, one detail only I knew. I lost everything that day, but what I held on to, that's what brought him down. So if you've ever looked someone in the eyes and realized too late they were the knife, stay with me, because what I did next was the quietest revenge he never saw coming. You never expect the knife to come from someone you helped raise, but that's exactly what happened to me. His name was Ryan, my cousin's boy. After his dad passed, I took him in, fed him, gave him a roof, paid for his college. When he graduated with a business degree, I made him junior partner at my firm. Not because he earned it, but because he was family. He used to call me Uncle G and bring me coffee every morning. Told me he wanted to learn the ropes and one day help me retire in peace. I believed him. And maybe that was my real mistake. For 34 years, I built Stonebrook systems with my bare hands. Late nights, failed contracts, sleepless weekends, just to keep it running. And when Ryan joined, I thought I was passing the torch. Turns out, I was handing him the lighter. At first, I was proud. He brought in new clients, smoothed out the younger staff, made big promises. I thought, good, maybe I can slow down a little. But something shifted after the 5th year. He stopped checking in with me, started holding meetings I wasn't invited to, even made changes to our contracts without my review. I brushed it off, told myself, he's just ambitious, let the kid try. But behind the charm and smile, Ryan was moving pieces I didn't even know were on the board. And the worst part, he used my own values, loyalty, trust, family against me. Every time I asked questions, he reminded me, "You taught me everything, Uncle G. I got this." I wanted to believe that, because the alternative was too painful to imagine. But that pain was coming, faster than I realized. Because one morning in a meeting I didn't schedule, he stood up, smiled, and told me I was no longer needed. You ever look back and realize the signs were all there, but you just didn't want to see them? That was me. It started small. Ryan stopped inviting me to meetings, but I thought, he's taking initiative. He rewrote client reports, but I figured, he's just cleaning things up. Then came the new hires, all people I'd never interviewed, young, flashy, always whispering when I walked by. I laughed it off, told myself I was just being paranoid. That's what you do when you still believe in someone. But then he started calling me old school in front of the team. Joked that I was the legacy system we hadn't upgraded yet. Folks chuckled. Even I chuckled. But deep down, something stung. I walked into my office one day and found my nameplate gone. "Just getting it polished," Ryan said. It never came back. Then came the numbers. The quarterly reports felt off. Margins were too clean, projections too perfect. When I asked for breakdowns, Ryan brushed me off. "Uncle G, it's just streamlined accounting, trust me." So I did, until one Friday evening I stayed late. The office was quiet, lights dimmed. I opened his shared drive. What I saw made my stomach drop. Private folders, side deals with vendors, revised contracts with my signature copied and pasted. The next morning I confronted him. He smiled, said, "You've worked hard enough, Uncle G. Let me take it from here." And then he patted my back like I was already a memory. That's when I realized this wasn't ambition, this was a takeover. But even then, I had no idea how far he was willing to go, because what happened the following Monday wasn't just betrayal. It was an ambush. Some betrayals are quiet. Mine came with applause. Monday morning felt strange. The parking lot was full by 7:30. Lights on in the boardroom, suits everywhere. Too many smiles, too much coffee. Ryan greeted me at the door. "Glad you made it," he said, like I was a guest. He walked me to the center seat, then sat at the head of the table. That's when I knew. He stood up and began his speech about new directions of fresh leadership, future-proof strategies. People nodded, some even clapped. Not one person looked at me. Then the lawyer walked in. He placed a folder in front of me. Inside, a resignation letter already signed. By me. Except I never wrote it. My heart pounded. I looked at Ryan. He didn't flinch. He just said, "Let's make this smooth, Uncle G. No need for drama." I pushed the paper away. "I'm not stepping down." He smiled. "Then we'll let the board vote." And they did. One by one, every single hand raised. Even Carol, who I gave her first job out of college. Even Tom, who once cried in my office when his wife left him. I sat there frozen, 34 years, gone in 4 minutes. Security walked in. I thought they were joking, but they weren't. They escorted me to my office, let me grab one box, then walked me out the back door. Not even a handshake, not even a thank you. Just like that, I was erased from the building I designed, the company I named, the people I called family. But here's what Ryan didn't know. In that one box, I carried more than just a photo frame and a stapler. I carried the only thing he forgot to steal. I didn't go home that night because I didn't have a home anymore. You see, the house was under the company's name. A smart tax move until you're no longer part of the company. My keycard didn't work. My email, wiped. Even the office coffee mug with "Boss Man" on it, gone. So I parked my old Ford in a Walmart lot, leaned the seat back and just sat there, staring at nothing. 58 years old, no job, no savings, no place to call mine. I ate cold beans out of a can, used my gym membership just to shower, read the same newspaper 3 days in a row, pretending it mattered. People talk about starting over like it's some grand journey, but most days, it just feels like surviving long enough to try again tomorrow. And yet, even in that truck, even at my lowest, I wasn't done. Because in that one cardboard box Ryan let me carry out, I had an old hard drive, just a backup, he thought. But that backup held the original source code to the AI system our company used to manage all client data, a system I personally designed, a system only I could maintain. Without it, the company would start to bleed, but I didn't act right away. No, first I needed to watch, to see just how far Ryan would fly, before gravity pulled. So I got a prepaid phone, set up a burner laptop, watched public records, client forums, waited, and what I saw made me realize the damage hadn't even started yet, because the first cracks were showing, subtle, small, but real. And when the foundation starts to crack, you don't patch it, you let it collapse brick by brick. They thought I disappeared, but I was watching, waiting, and slowly rebuilding. I stayed in that truck for 6 weeks. Moved from Walmart to church parking lots, wherever no one asked questions. Every dollar I had went to gas, instant noodles, and Wi-Fi at a coffee shop near Route 19. That old hard drive, it became my compass. I spent nights rewriting the AI code, cleaning it, improving it, making it faster, smarter. I gave it a new name, Sentinel, because this time it wouldn't protect a company, it would protect me. By month 3, I had something worth showing, I reached out to an old friend, Cal Rodriguez. We started Stonebrook together, but he left before things went corporate. Now he was with a new firm, smaller, hungrier, and pissed at Ryan for stealing one of their clients. I met him in a diner booth with coffee-stained blueprints and a flash drive. He leaned in, read the specs, and just said, "Grant, where the hell have you been?" By the end of that meeting, I had a contract, not as an employee, as a partner. We registered Sentinel under my name, locked down patents, and prepped a quiet rollout. Meanwhile, I watched Ryan's company stumble, delays in reporting, client dashboards glitching, AI miscalculating invoices. Why? Because without my updates, the system was eating itself. And Ryan? He just kept smiling for the cameras, holding press conferences, promising next-gen tech built on foundations he didn't even understand. But foundations crack, and when the cracks get wide enough, even the proudest buildings fall. And I was about to make sure the whole damn tower came down, in public. The first failure came on a Tuesday morning. The dashboard froze, the numbers vanished, and Ryan blamed the intern. It started with a glitch in the billing system. A few clients couldn't access their invoices. No big deal. Until one of them was a major medical group out of Chicago. They lost track of payroll, and within hours, hundreds of staff didn't get paid. Emails flooded in. Phones rang off the hook. The new IT director, some kid Ryan hired from his country club, just stared at the screen. Meanwhile, I was across town, sipping burnt diner coffee, watching the chaos unfold online. Client complaints, screenshots, Reddit threads. Their system wasn't just failing, it was falling apart in public. By day's end, 3 contracts were suspended, and Ryan? He went on LinkedIn and posted, "Excited about upcoming innovations. Thanks for your continued support." He had no idea, because here's what I'd built into Sentinel: a silent algorithm that detected system drift, false inputs, and AI overreach. The moment they started tweaking the old version without my code, it began fighting back. Not maliciously, just logically. It flagged every inconsistency. Then it froze itself to protect the data. And without me, there was no one left who could unfreeze it. That night, Ryan called an emergency meeting, demanded the system be wiped and reinstalled, but no one could find the root files, because I never gave them the root. Only I had that, and it was locked in a server under my name, on US soil, protected by contract. And this was just the beginning, because while he scrambled to put out fires, I was lighting more. And the biggest one was about to burn everything he built in front of a room full of investors. He walked on stage with a mic and a smile, but 20 seconds later, every screen behind him went black. They called it the Next Horizon Summit, a high-profile investor event in downtown Boston. Press was there, tech media, big names with deep pockets, and Ryan, he was glowing. New suit, fresh haircut, walking like he'd won the game. I knew the schedule. At 9:00 a.m., he would demo the AI platform, the very system I'd designed, and the one currently rotting from the inside. At 8:59, I logged in from a coffee shop 3 blocks away. Entered one line of code, not to crash the system, just to trigger a truth check. Sentinel's last breath speaking for itself. The lights dimmed, music played. Ryan stepped up to the podium. "Today," he said, "we redefine enterprise automation." And then he clicked the remote. The main screen flashed once, then displayed a system error. "Unauthorized deployment detected. Owner verification failed." The crowd went silent. Ryan froze. He tapped again. Nothing. Behind him, every monitor went dark. One by one, error messages scrolled, citing patent ownership, signature mismatch, System lockout. Then someone in the audience shouted, "Who actually built this?" The press cameras turned. The whispers started. "And Ryan?" He stammered, tried to pivot, mumbled something about technical difficulties. But it was too late. Within minutes, Twitter lit up. Screenshots, video clips, investors walking out. 2 of his biggest clients terminated deals on the spot. And me? I closed my laptop, finished my coffee, and smiled. Not because I destroyed him, but because he did it to himself. All I did was let the truth speak. He knocked on my door, the same door I once gave him a key to. 3 days after the summit collapsed, Ryan showed up at my friend Cal's garage, where I'd been rebuilding. No cameras, no press, just a broken man in a wrinkled suit. He looked like he hadn't slept in days, eyes red, shirt half untucked, hands shaking, the same hands that once handed me that resignation letter. "Grant," he said, voice barely holding, "I need your help." I let him speak. He told me about the investors pulling out, the lawsuits coming, the internal board blaming him for everything. I didn't say a word. Then he said the one thing I didn't expect: "I was wrong. I should have listened. I need you back." That's when I stood up. "You didn't just push me out, Ryan. You erased me. And now you want me to patch your mess?" He lowered his head. "I don't have a choice." I walked to my desk, pulled out a folder. Inside a legally drafted deal, I slid it toward him. "If you want me to clean this up, you'll sign over everything, full ownership of the company. You walk away for good." His lips trembled. "Grant, that company is my life." I looked him dead in the eye. "No, it was mine. You just borrowed it, then broke it." He stared at the paper, then at me, and for the first time since this all began, he didn't smile. He signed. No handshake, no thanks, no excuses, just a quiet exit. And just like that, the company he stole was back in the hands of the man who built it. But I wasn't finished yet, because now that I had it all back, I had one more decision to make. And this time, it wasn't about revenge. It was about what kind of man I wanted to be next. I could have dragged him through the courts, but sometimes the cleanest justice is just walking away with your dignity. I sat alone in the office that night, the same office they'd once emptied out behind my back. Now it was mine again. But it didn't feel like victory, it felt heavy. Ryan was gone. The paperwork filed, ownership restored. I could have called the press, could have sued him into bankruptcy, made an example of him, publicly, and God knows. He earned it. But instead, I poured myself a cup of black coffee, sat by the window, and thought about who I wanted to be at the end of this road. Because revenge is easy, dignity, that's the hard part. So I made my decision. No lawsuits, no headlines, no more blood, just one condition. Ryan would never work in tech again. I had my lawyers draft a non-compete clause so tight he couldn't write an email without my permission. He left town the next day, no goodbye, no apology, just disappeared into the same kind of silence he once forced me into. I didn't feel proud, I didn't feel powerful, but I felt free. The company stabilized. We rehired old staff, rebuilt client trust. Even Cal joined full-time, turning my quiet comeback into a story no one saw coming. And me? I showed up early, kept the same truck, drank the same cheap coffee, because I didn't need to prove anything. Not anymore. But just when I thought the storm had passed, a letter showed up on my desk, handwritten, no return address. And what it said inside changed everything. It wasn't a confession, it wasn't an apology, it was a goodbye, written in ink and regret. It arrived in a plain white envelope. No name, no return address, just a note on my desk. folded once, sealed clean. Inside was a letter from Ryan. The handwriting was shaky, like someone wrote it in a storm. No excuses, no begging, just a few lines, short but sharp. He said he was sorry, that he saw now what he'd destroyed, that the worst part wasn't losing the company. It was losing the only man who ever believed in him. And then this line, "You gave me everything, Uncle G. I gave you nothing but a scar. I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I hope someday you'll stop hating me." I sat with that letter for hours, no tears, no anger, just stillness. Because the truth is, I didn't hate him, not anymore. What he did cost me everything, but it also gave me something back. My clarity, my peace. So I wrote him a letter in return, 4 pages, every thought I never said out loud. I told him about the pain, about the nights in the truck, the betrayal, the rebuild, but I also told him this: "You didn't break me. You reminded me who I was before I forgot." Then I folded that letter, sealed it, held it in my hand for a long while, and tossed it in the fire. Because some things don't need to be sent. Some closure isn't for the other person. It's for you. And in that moment, I finally understood. Losing everything was exactly what I needed to find myself again. I used to think losing everything was the end. That when the job is gone, the house is gone, the people you trusted turn their backs. There's nothing left, but I was wrong. What I lost cleared the noise. What I built back was honest. And the man I became, he's someone I actually respect now. I didn't rebuild to prove anything. Not to Ryan, not to the world, just to remind myself that I still could, that at 60 you're not finished. You're just better at knowing what matters. I don't carry bitterness, I carry memory, and memory teaches you how to stand taller next time. If you've ever been betrayed by someone close, if you've ever sat in your car, holding everything you own in one box, I hope this story reminds you that you're not alone and you're not done. The best revenge isn't rage, it's restoration. It's waking up each morning knowing they took their shot and you're still standing. If you felt something in this story, if it reminded you of your own quiet battles, leave a comment. Tell me, what did you rebuild when the world thought you were finished? Because maybe your story is the one someone else needs to hear right now.